we're here to tell you about a new generation of AI-first experiences. So I cannot start this part of the presentation with telling you a story. So I wanted to go do a little bit of a recap when we think about user experience between humans and computers. So when personal computing started, I think you probably remember we all had an ASCII keyboard. We have all those characters, and we type, and that's how we interface with a computer. Then something incredible happened, the mouse, and that all of a sudden the computer interface became a graphical user interface, and we could now interact with the graphical user interface. You know, when smartphone arrived, we saw an interesting thing happen with the smartphone revolution. You had the intersection of 3 points. They were very important. One point is, and that's something that Qualcomm did, we brought broadband to a mobile phone. That was 4G. On top of it, the phone became a computer. That's how Snapdragon was born. It became a computer. And then you have a different user interface. It was touch. If you look at those 3 things combined, and it was the user interface change, the computing, and broadband, we saw what happened. There was a big change in computing, and phone became a new computing space, like we had laptops. We're about to see the next big change. The most interesting thing for Snapdragon about Gen AI. Yes, it's incredible what you see with those models, and you can ask any questions, but there's another thing beyond having well-trained models on different tasks and help you do your everyday tasks. There's something else. Computers now can understand the language of humans. Computers can now communicate like humans communicate. And what that does, it changes how we think about the experience that you have on computing and the experience you have on Snapdragon. And that's, I think, my first part of the presentation today. I want to show you this vision, how fundamentally, how we think about applications and user experience is about to change in a big way with Gen AI, and that's one of the key focus of Snapdragon now and into the future. So we have this construct that we're now very used to with it, which is an app-centric experience. Like going back to telling you stories, we used to call what you bring to your computer like a program. But because of the smartphone revolution, we start talking about apps. And that's what we have today. We have this construct of app, and we have an app-centric experience. And if we think about what we do it, in all the different applications and use cases we have on our phones, we have that on the PC as well, things that we get to the App Store, we get to the browser. But that is changing because each application and use case now has the potential to be changed how we think about AI, as now the machines can understand human language. So that's going to be completely redefined, and we're going to see new experiences. I call that going to be the evolution of apps. That's this construct that we're familiar with is about to change. And it's going to change in a way that is easier to think about it. Why? This is not about one killer app. This is how every single app and experience is going to change. And I'm going to walk you through some examples. But I want to start, before I walk you through some examples, I had some interesting conversations even yesterday about people asked me the question, what is the killer app on AI? What is the killer Gen AI app on a phone? It's one way to think about it, but I don't think that's the only way to think about it, because it would be the same thing that you asking what would be the killer app when the smartphone was launched. What was it? And all of a sudden it was 10 apps, 100 apps, 1,000 apps, hundreds of thousands of apps. So the way we are thinking about this future is there will be apps are simply going to change. And they're going to change, and they're going to be new apps. They're not being created. But I think once we see this future, I think we will understand it is not about one killer app coming this year or next year, but the transition that is now right in front of our eyes. And that's what I said at the beginning of the presentation. I have conviction that's the future. I just can't precise the timing. But with that, let me show you what I'm talking about, so I make this less abstract. Okay, so think about a banking app. I'm sure everyone in this room has a banking app. So a developer wrote this app, and the developer was thinking, for all of these people that are a client of this bank, maybe this is how this screen should be rendered. This is the way that it's going to please most people, and you have the usual things you find in a banking app. You have the ability to see your balance, you see what are your savings accounts, and that's what we do every day. But now, you have this change that I'm talking about it. Computers can understand human language. So in the same way that this app has your bank credentials, go to the bank cloud and get the information, this is going to start to change. Here's how it's going to change when it's enabled by Gen AI. You're just going to ask the question. You just ask the question, what are your last transactions? And it tells us the last transactions. What is the progress? You just ask any question. You can even, if you feel that you want to see the app, the model can render the app for you. And if you want it different than the developer intended, you want a different color, the model is going to display the way you want it. And that's how I can show to you what happens when computers understand human language, enabled by AI at the edge, and started to change an app. A simple thing as a banking app becomes different. But I don't want to stop that. What else can this thing do? Think about this concept I used to see in the early days of smartphones. People talk about mashup of apps. You're buying something. You're going to be in a shopping app. And you're going to basically say, I like to pay this with a debit card. Do I have a balance? And the banking app will tell you here's your balance, and you can complete the purchase, or it can complete the purchase for you. It's a different experience on something that we use every day. You see like how the innovation is going to come with Gen AI. And it gets even better when you think about multimodal AI. Like I said, the computer can now, like a human, not only understand language, understand images. So think about this. You have a bill. You just get a bill. You get a picture of the bill, and you just tell the banking app to pay the bill and let you know when it's done. So this is a task we make it every day. So hopefully I was able to show you why it's so clear to us how mobile is going to change, experience is going to change, and we're just going to see a really revolution enabled by AI-first experiences. And I think that's a really exciting future we have in front of us. And that is the reason you see a number of companies now that look and believe in the future working with Qualcomm and working with Snapdragon. And I think as I go into this first part of my presentation, I'll bring some of those companies for you to see how they think about it and let them tell the story. The future mobile with AI, some of the experiences we now are going to enable in the car. But I want to go back to compute because there's a lot of excitement this year about what we're doing with compute, with X Elite, with Oryon, and with our partnership with Microsoft. We're creating a new generation of computing. Copilot Plus PCs, powered by Snapdragon, really pioneer the new generation of AI computing. PCs are ahead. You already have in the Copilot Plus PC an open platform that you can install new models and develop new experience, and that's what Microsoft's already doing. But besides the transition of computers to AI, there's something else we did in PC. We restored performance leadership to the Windows ecosystem. In Windows is now where you can find the fastest processors, the fastest laptops with the biggest battery life. And that it's about what the goal was for Snapdragon. Never thought possible, performance, AI experience, and battery life. And that's new. It's new relationship for Qualcomm, new partnerships, and we're excited to see the number of designs we have now in the hands of consumers and how consumers are actually reacting to this new technology. Okay, so now we're going to go to a fun part of the keynote. I promise at IFA that we'll have in the Snapdragon Summit the battle of the benchmarks. So that's what we're going to have right now. Yes. So let's talk about CPU performance. So I'm going to start with a recap, because look, I'll do my best to make it fun for all of you. It is really fun for Qualcomm to have this session of the presentation. So last year, we announced Qualcomm Oryon CPU. That was a very proud moment for our company. It's CPU designed by the ground up from Qualcomm to bring the performance that we believe Snapdragon deserves and the Snapdragon user deserves, especially as we think about not only entering, but with Microsoft, create a next generation of computing. Here's the recap of what we did. This is where we announced it at Computex. Leader in mobile computing, delivering against what was the best computing platform available from the incumbents. It delivered 51% faster CPU performance, and the competitor peak performance requiring 180% more power. This is what we did at Computex. If you remember that was the best at the time we launched that the existing incumbents from the computing index could do, both the AMD Ryzen 9 as the Intel Core Ultra 9. This is interesting because, as I said earlier, Qualcomm is changing. We're changing ourselves into a connected processing company, and we want to enter the industry with a bang. That's what we did. All right, so since we announced X Elite at IFA, we had a reaction, and new products got launched from the existing processor providers in the PC with the intent to show how they compare and stack up with Snapdragon X Elite. We were so happy at that point in time that we became the benchmark. So at IFA, we had Strix Point. They launched, we benchmarked it, and 12% faster CPU performance on Snapdragon X Elite, and the competitor peak performance requiring 43% more power. Then after that, there was the launch of Intel Lunar Lake, and they made a lot of claims about Lunar Lake performance. So I said, okay, at that time, we at IFA, we said, we need to wait for these devices to come in, so we're going to benchmark them, but at Snapdragon Summit, we're going to show. And I have a surprise for you. Not good enough. Snapdragon, still the king, delivers 10% faster CPU performance. Competitor peak performance requires 38% more power. So this is incredible, because the way we look at this, it's like there was a reaction. There was an acceleration of our product plans to compete with X Elite, but this is showing the power of Snapdragon performance. And we're very pleased that, as I said before, in compute, there's a new sheriff in town, and I think X Elite continue to deliver to that claim. But he gets better. He gets much better. So there were claims about battery life. So we were very puzzled about the claims of battery life because, when we did the math, it wasn't what we expected. So we got the devices and we checked. So this is the new section of the presentation that we talk about performance unplugged. So for you to have battery life performance, you have to unplug the devices. That's what we did. And what we actually saw, to achieve the battery life claims that were made, performance was brought down. And here's the actual results. When unplugged, competitors chose a lower performance to achieve the battery life claim. Then on the Guinness book, there is something called the world's longest power cord. So if you want to get one of those devices, get that, because thank you very much for being here.
Oh, you're welcome.
Looking good, and your CPUs are looking incredible.
Thank you.
Yes. Look, I want you to tell, I think, the story about this journey that you have been within Qualcomm. And we're going to do the battle of the benchmarks. But now, I want to talk about second generation, or Oryon. So it's what Snapdragon has done in mobile, we're now bringing to other industries. So we have all this conversation. It's interesting to see a company, Qualcomm, that was a mobile company, being now the one to...
It's really great to be back here with you in Maui. And hello to all of you joining us online. Where are the insiders? Insiders, awesome. We have a lot of exciting stuff to talk about, so let's get started. Qualcomm can deliver best-in-class capabilities across all three. We also live in a multi-device world. It's a fact. So with Hexagon NPU, our Adreno GPU, and the Spectra ISP, Snapdragon 8 Gen 3 set the bar with over 100 plus commercial designs and some of the best...
Next up, pushing through the line like an animal. Never will I ever settle down till I have it all. Pedal to the metal, get the crown, breaking through the walls, higher reaching, higher rising. I'ma take it to the top. I'ma take it to the top. I'm gonna stop, smashing all the outs. Haters wanna top, I go hard. I'ma take it to the top.
See our top-tier Snapdragon 8 platform as a new name, ensuring smooth and fast performance. It runs complex applications like high-end games, video editing, unlike others that run benchmarks in freezer environments to show performance gains. Let me show you another benchmark that truly... component to get a design overhaul. Our industry-leading Adreno GPU has been redesigned to maximize both performance and efficiency, which is super crucial for mobile gaming. You will see a 40 to bring more intelligent computing to the palm of your hand. The newly architected Hexagon NPU delivers a 45% CPU and GPU. Snapdragon 8 Elite can dynamically manage photos and videos of everything around you, even your pets. Let's bring up Shirley Shi to show you how this works. Shirley. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Alex. We all love our pets, and we will do anything to capture the best moments of our furry companions. But taking pictures of fast-moving subjects has been the challenge. How quickly they move, photos will be sharp and in focus. It also watches them and triggers a shutter at the exact moment they're looking at the camera, so that frame-worthy photo doesn't rely on your great photo. Watch this as we capture the perfect shot in what's otherwise an incredibly chaotic scene.
Thanks, Shirley. This is my friend Blue, and I want to show you just how easy it is to get an amazing action shot with our AI pet photography.
This is a perfect example of how AI can make it easier to take that perfect photo and elevate all that you share on social media. Back to you, Alex.
Shirley, thank you.
There is no question that the AI PC...
These were the first AI PCs with the advanced hardware and software.
The possibilities in your life with the power of AI.
Under the hood, we have the Snapdragon X Plus processor, which delivers an incredible AI performance on the...
Our AI experts are on hand early in the morning to ensure that our customers experience the very first Copilot Plus PCs.
Snapdragon X Elite with an NPU that's 2.5 times the tops of a MacBook Air with its best in...
High power on the device is a really big deal. It means smarter, better experience, accelerating creativity, collaboration, innovation, and ultimately productivity.
And I have to say that the Qualcomm team has delivered virtually. We are so excited for customers to benefit from this innovation.
More and more developers are bringing their apps to Windows on Snapdragon. PC users spend 90% of the time using apps that are... However, we all know that users will spend time on casual entertainment, such as web browsing, which we...
A mobile platform after phones, and our vision for it puts people at the center, helping us be more present. Two things. The first was audio. You could do phone calls, listen to music and podcasts, and the open-ear speaker design allows you to continue to hear the world around you rather than be disconnected from it. The second thing the glasses can do is take photos and videos. These are hands-free. They're moments... We announced at Connect a few weeks ago a few new features that will roll out before the end of the year. First is text actions, so you can look at a phone number and ask your glasses to call it. The second is reminders, so you can look at a parking garage and ask changing a tire or putting wax on a new surfboard. I'm an engineer with a person who's physically in another state or another country in a shared space. Second is AI. What becomes possible with AI when you have a large display that overlays content on the world you're looking at? For example, when my wife sends me to a supermarket wall of vegetables. People. And we're going to partner on that journey. And my responsibilities recently expanded to include physical
experiences across devices. With Snapdragon Runner, and you're traveling for work. Hey, I'd like to go on a mobile platform. We're collaborating with manufacturers and